Tyron Woodley is set to face Jake Paul on August 28th. Yes, it's actually happening after the rumor mills were going crazy about who Jake Paul would face next in his boxing journey. As an avid MMA fan, I instantly questioned, why? Of all the people on your list, why would Jake Paul face the most accomplished and proven striker? Tyron Woodley is the most recent UFC welterweight champion, other than Kamaru Usman. The opening betting line surprised me even more. Jake Paul opened as a favorite to win this fight. I start to question, are the people who believe Jake Paul will win right? Or are they falling for the mystique Jake Paul created? Before we go any further, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want more videos like this, let us know down in the comments below. Tyron Woodley is in a very strange situation. I don't think many other people have been faced with something like this before. His best friend or longtime friend, whatever you want to call him, Ben Askren, has gone through this circus. But it seems like they're very different in their approach in dealing with this, with the media attention. Tyron Woodley is not new to having cameras pointed at him, people asking him questions, but it's a lot different this time. It's very, very different, actually. He's going into this fight being called washed. He's being directly told that he's old. He's done. He doesn't have anything that he has had in his past career anymore. He's 40 years old when he's not actually 40, he's 39. Dana White is coming out and saying that Tyron Woodley is not the same anymore. He might have power in his right hand, but he's not the same fighter anymore. Now, I get why Dana White has done that. He has a tendency to not talk the best about people that were former employees, and especially guys that he didn't have the best relationship with while they were in the company. But Dana White is kind of taking it a little too far. Maybe he said that to boost the ratings of the person that was doing the podcast, but it's very disrespectful. I don't think Tyron Woodley is used to this type of disrespect. In the past, when he was in the UFC, the disrespect was about how he would be able to deal with certain aspects in the fight. It wasn't necessarily about, does he have the ability to even fight at all? Does he have the discipline to actually go out there and perform? It was more about his skills versus your skills. But now, in this fight with Jake Paul, it's much different. It's about you being washed and you facing a Disney Channel star. Tyron Woodley, we have to remember, this guy was a top 10 welterweight before he left the UFC. It came off 4 losses, yes, but these losses were against world-class fighters. We were talking about Kamaru Usman. We're talking about Colby Covington. We're talking about Gilbert Burns. We're talking about Vicente Luque. These are not guys that are similar to Jake Paul in terms of training, in terms of skill, in terms of just overall athletic performance or history or resumes. That being said, Tyron Woodley, his whole game was surrounding his right hand, was surrounding his striking. Ben Askren, who was Jake Paul's previous opponent, couldn't say the same thing. His whole game was the opposite of what Tyron Woodley's was. Tyron Woodley really used his wrestling as a defensive mechanism. What he would do is he would keep his back to the cage, and he would make his opponent work very, very hard for a takedown, if they could even get that close to him. And what he would do is that he would use his right hand to primarily deter anybody from coming in too close, because of how fast and how powerful that strike was. Ben Askren wasn't that. Ben Askren was, I need to grab you and take you to the ground as fast as possible. And that's what you saw in the Jake Paul fight, but you see in his other fights as well, that the majority of people have seen, right? You've probably seen the Jorge Masvidal. Why did that happen? Well, Jorge Masvidal blitzed him, and Ben Askren's first instinct is to go for a takedown, to clinch, try to take down Jorge Masvidal. And what did that result in? It resulted in him getting hit by a flying knee. Now, Tyron Woodley, his entire MMA career is about his striking. Now, is it boxing? No, it's not boxing not boxing centric, right? He's not out there with a high guard. He's using his footwork to come in, hit the guy in the body shot a couple times, and then level changes. No, it's not that. It's completely not that. What he does is that he uses what he's able to do best, and that is countering and using his right hand, which is one of the deadliest weapons still probably in MMA today. Anybody in that welterweight division is, when they're facing Tyron Woodley, is game planning to not get hit by that right hand. And when you're Gilbert Burns, when you're Kamaru Usman, when you're Colby Covington, when you're Vicente Luque, you can do that. But when you're Jake Paul, I don't know if you can. Jake Paul has been made out to be this proficient striker. I'm not hating on his striking ability. He probably is much better striker than a lot of these guys that have similar number of years of training as him. But that's very key. Similar number of years of training compared to him. How many years of training has he had? He's only had maybe 3-4 years of, at the time of this video, of training. You cannot compare that to a Tyron Woodley who's been training and fighting for probably the majority of his life. Not just his in the last 5 years, last 6 years. He's 39 years old. He's been fighting for probably 20 plus years, not just in MMA, but also in the wrestling department. He's also said that he did a lot of backyard fighting as well. I don't know if that goes on your official record, but my point is he has a lot of combat history, as opposed to Jake Paul, who doesn't really have that much. Tyron Woodley has gone in there with the best strikers in the world, and he's beat them. And different styles, not just only MMA fighters that are boxing styles, but he's faced many, many different styles. He's faced guys that are karate style, who are taekwondo style, who are Muay Thai, boxing styles, and he's gone there and he beat them all. One very interesting fact is Tyron Woodley has only ever been knocked down once in his MMA career. And that was against Nate Marquardt way back in the day in Strikeforce, I believe. Even his last 4 losses, he was never knocked down. His chin is probably one of the best in MMA history. Not just because he's able to just take a punch or anything like that. He's able to roll with a lot of the punches as well. He's able to deflect a lot of them. He's very, very good at not getting hit. And when he does get hit, he doesn't get knocked down. Now, you're telling me that Jake Paul has enough power, enough skill, enough accuracy to knock down a guy that's only been knocked down once in his career? Even in his 4 losses, he didn't get knocked down. How is Jake Paul going to knock him down? All in all, this fight, I believe, is going to be very, very short. 1, maybe 2 rounds. It's going to end up with Tyron Woodley hitting Jake Paul with an overhand right or right hook, something with the right hand, and Jake Paul's gonna get stumbled and probably gonna get TKO'd, but most likely I think he's gonna get KO'd actually. The reason why I say that, we have a video, I'm not sure it's out at this time, but it goes over how Tyron Woodley wins via knockout and right hand, but examples of why I think that. So we have many clips, and it goes over, okay, this is the moment that Tyron Woodley is going to be able to capitalize on. And this is me just watching it. You have Tyron Woodley that has a whole team, has part of one of the best gyms in MMA, but just in combat. Duke Rufus, one of the best minds in the game. He's seeing this, and he's probably going to game plan and win this fight pretty easily with Tyron Woodley. So what does Jake Paul do after all of this? He has an immediate rematch clause. I don't think he's going to use that. I think he's going to go back and go to his team and be like, you know what, maybe I overstepped on this, right? Maybe I shouldn't face these guys that make this situation very dicey. I'm going to go out, I'm going to face guys that I have the potential to beating. And I think what he's going to do is he's going to go and have a big payday, a big matchup against KSI. And honestly, I prefer to see him face him, KSI, rather than guys like Tyron Woodley, because it's not going to end up very, very well. especially now in Jake Paul's career. Maybe Jake Paul trains for another 5 years, and then maybe we'll see. But even then, I don't think this Tyron Woodley fight's going to end up very well. KSI is still a big matchup. It's going to be fun to watch. We'll talk about that fight whenever it comes, but Tyron Woodley's winning this fight. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want more, let us know down in the comments below. Do you think Jake Paul will win, or will Tyron Woodley prove everybody wrong?